Rowdy session in the House of Representatives as lawmakers summon Central Bank of Nigeria governor over alleged 16.3 trillion naira unremitted funds. President Tinubu insists on VIP police escort withdrawals as lawmakers decry selective implementation. Army troops neutralize notorious bandit kingpin Kachalla Kallamu in Sokoto. And on the foreign scene, tensions escalate as Thailand and Cambodia edge towards full-scale conflict. I'm Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. We sincerely apologize for starting this news broadcast rather late. President Bola Tinubu is very unhappy with the backlog of unpaid federal contractors and has set up a high-level committee to resolve the bottlenecks and fund repayments. Briefing State House correspondents in Abuja, Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, revealed that the president was upset after learning that about 2,000 contractors were being owed and therefore directed that a one-stop solution be found to the problem. He spoke to newsmen at the State House, Abuja, after Wednesday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Kehinde Amodu has details.
President Tinubu is taking a hard stance on some issues, starting with his insistence that police personnel must be withdrawn from VIPs to help combat the insecurity in the land. The second issue he is unhappy with this Wednesday is the fact that about 2,000 contractors are being owed money by the federal government after being briefed by the DG of the Bureau for Public Procurement.
In the course of the FEC meeting, the president expressed very grave displeasure about the fact that contractors are being owed money. He actually said he was upset.
A cabinet committee has been set up to tackle the problem, made up of ministers of finance, budget and economic planning, works, education, and housing. Also on the committee are the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, and the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
He set up a committee of about 6 ministers and said he should look into the problems of giving funds, of paying those contractors. The DG of procurement actually told the president that about 2,000 contractors are being owed money. And this, of course, I said, made the president very upset.
Also on Wednesday, the Federal Executive Council approved 5 major memoranda from the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. 3 of the approved submissions fall under industry, while 2 relate to trade and investment. The Council of Ministers formally adopted the Nigerian Industrial Policy 2025, a document developed and validated with national and international partners, including the UNDP.
The approval for the award of contract for the design and build of Project Atlantic, a co-Atlantic city, Lagos, by the Bank of Industry. The building of, the headquarters of the Bank of Industry at the co-Atlantic city was also approved. The most, the hugest of them all, the last memo on industry was the approval for the adoption of the Nigeria Industrial Policy 2025. This policy was validated a few months ago, to the general acclaim of, every of the stakeholders, both, national and international.
Also approved by the cabinet were the contract for the procurement of 200 units of electric buses from the National Automotive Design and Development Council and the 187.8 billion naira contract for the design and construction of the Bank of Industry headquarters at Eco Atlantic City. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
A heated session erupted in the House of Representatives on Wednesday as lawmakers clashed over allegations that the Central Bank of Nigeria failed to remit more than 16 trillion naira to the federal government. The rowdy debate forced the Speaker to intervene, as our correspondent now reports.
The session turned tense after Public Accounts Committee Chairman Honorable Bamidele Salam moved a motion alleging that CBN investigations uncovered more than 11 trillion naira in unremitted funds. He outlined 5.2 trillion naira in unremitted operating surpluses, 954 million naira withheld remitter fees, 11 billion naira collection discrepancies, and 2.6 trillion naira migration shortfall.
Concerned that cumulatively, the committee has uncovered that the Central Bank of Nigeria is indebted to the federal government of Nigeria to the tune of over 11 trillion naira, arising from the foregoing infractions and discrepancies. Disturbed that despite several formal communications and invitations extended to the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria by the Public Accounts Committee to appear, provide explanations, and remit the outstanding amount into designated government account, the Central Bank of Nigeria has failed, refused, or neglected to honor the invitations or effect the required remittances as directed by the committee.
But the chamber became chaotic when Honorable Tijani Gurley called for an expanded ad hoc committee, sparking sharp objections. The uproar prompted Speaker Honorable Abbas Tajuddin to intervene, cautioning lawmakers to follow parliamentary rules and decide issues through voting, not shouting.
So what is the point of you always shouting? As if putting that question will take away a right that belongs to you. We shouldn't be acting like this. We are before the world seeing us. This is not the behavior of an honorable member. We need to desist from this.
Order returned after Honorable Ahmed Jaha moved an amendment reaffirming the Public Accounts Committee's mandate to summon CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso. The motion passed via voice vote, and Ghali withdrew his proposal.
What I'm trying to say is, in as much as the committee has written severally to the agency and they have not been honoring, this time around is a resolution of the House for them to appear before the committee.
The House also adopted a motion by Honorable Saidu Abdullahi calling for a full waiver of outstanding COVID-19 survival loans for vulnerable households and restructuring of SME components.
Believes that despite the high default figures reported in 2023, substantial recoveries have been made through the unplanned automatic deductions from beneficiaries' bank accounts between late 2023 and December 2025.
Another motion by Honorable Afakbe Afolabi seeking reforms to the contributory pension scheme to enhance retirees' welfare was also approved.
Disturbed that the contributory pension scheme has failed to address the harsh economic reality faced by retirees, such as increased inflation and living costs, alongside the lack of transparency in pension fund management, which has led to distrust among retirees.
Lawmakers further endorsed a proposal by Honorable Sesi Wingan for January 15 to be declared a national public holiday in honor of Nigeria's armed forces.
With designated national holiday, limit citizens' participation in wreath-laying ceremonies, remembrance parades, military honor events, school-based civic lessons, and community-led tributes, thereby weakens national consciousness of military history.
They also adopted a motion by Honorable Omoshede Igbenedion, rejecting the proposal to cede part of Edo State for the creation of Torube State.
Worry that if allowed to proceed, this proposal could set a dangerous precedent by encouraging further unconstitutional claims to indigenous lands under the guise of state creation.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has forwarded the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper to the House for approval. Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu read the letter, which noted that the document had been endorsed by the Federal Executive Council and will guide preparation of the 2026 budget.
I forward the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, MTEF and FSP, for the kind consideration and approval of the House of Representatives.
Earlier, Bayelsa lawmakers Rodney Ambawe and Ubuku Oforoji defected from the PDP to the APC, citing divisions within the PDP's national leadership affecting state chapters.
Still at the National Assembly, the Nigerian Senate has launched an investigation into what it describes as the uneven enforcement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive ordering the withdrawal of police personnel from VIPs. Raising the matter under Order 9, Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central raised concerns on the Senate floor over the withdrawal of his only police orderly. He questioned why many political office holders still have police protection while his security was removed, calling for fairness and uniform application of the directive from the President and the Vice President to ministers and others. Senator Ningi also noted that some ministers, business persons, and entertainers continue to receive protection despite security withdrawal order. He urged the leadership of the Senate to direct the Police Affairs Committee to investigate this selective enforcement, warning that the National Assembly should not be singled out.
It should be done across the board. Let's see what happens from the office of the President to the Vice President to the Senate President to the Speaker of the House to the ministers. Mr. President, I'm coming after they have withdrawn my only orderly. I saw 2 convoys of ministers and they were carrying lots of security personnel. I have also seen business concern, Chinese and other business concern. Yesterday, with the compliments of orderlies. Mr. President, I have also seen daughters and sons of political office holders having orderlies and having security covers. Mr. President, I have seen singers having orderlies and complementary of protection. I cannot ever imagine that a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who has been here for a very long time, only one orderly.
The directive of Mr. President being flouted, where you have the class of persons that he just said, singers, businessmen, and what have you, having policemen. The chairman of the Police Affairs Committee should check up this matter, conduct a proper investigation, and let us know why is the directive of Mr. President being flouted.
Meanwhile, troops of the 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, have neutralized notorious bandit kingpin Kachalla Kallamu in Sabon, Birnin local government area. A reliable source from the army disclosed the major operational success to newsmen on Wednesday in Sokoto. The source, who pleaded anonymity, said Kallamu, a close associate and senior lieutenant of the notorious bandit leader Turji, was killed in collaboration with local vigilantes in the area. The source confirmed that Kallamu was neutralized alongside one of the Turji's major logistics supplier in the early hours of Monday around Kurawa village during the major offensive operation by gallant troops of the 8th Division of the Nigerian Army. Kallamu hailed from Garin Idi in Sabon, Birnin local government area and was known to be operating within the area, causing significant distress to local communities in Sokoto State. It was gathered that Kallamu had recently returned to the area after fleeing a previous military onslaught in June 2025, during which he was believed to have sought refuge in Kogi State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has authorized the arming of forest guards nationwide as part of a renewed strategy to confront rising insecurity, particularly in rural communities affected by banditry, kidnapping, and illegal mining. The decision was announced during Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House, Abuja, where the president said the escalating threats across the country demand a more decentralized, well-equipped security structure. The move signals a major shift in the role of forest guards, positioning them as frontline responders in securing forests and remote corridors that have become hideouts for armed groups. Security analysts say the directive could strengthen surveillance and response capabilities in high-risk rural zones, but emphasize the need for proper training, clear operational guidelines, and coordination with agencies such as the police, military, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The president urged ministries and agencies to promptly implement the directive, describing it as essential to restoring confidence in public safety. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies to carry out a nationwide security diagnostic and submit actionable recommendations to guide reforms of Nigeria's security architecture. The president issued the directive on Wednesday at a presidential parley with participants of Senior Executive Course 47 at the State House, Abuja, where he also asked ministries, departments, and agencies to study and prepare to implement NIF's new report on the blue economy. Vice President Kashin Shettima represented the president. According to a statement signed by the VP's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Communication, Stanley Onwokocha, the president framed the security task alongside a fresh economic blueprint targeting Nigeria's marine and aquatic wealth. The Nigerian leader described NIFS as the intellectual engine of our national transformation and urged the scholars to remain bold, solution-driven, and rooted in the country's realities. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso has freed 11 Nigerian military personnel who were detained following the unscheduled landing of a Nigerian Air Force C-130 aircraft at Bobo de Lasso airfield in Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. The Ouagadougou authorities described as unauthorized. The group, consisting of 2 crew members and 9 passengers, was held for questioning amidst suspicions that the flight might be connected to a recent failed coup in Benin Republic. They have since been cleared of any wrongdoing and returned safely to Nigeria. While Nigerian authorities maintain that the aircraft made a technical emergency landing on its way to Portugal, Burkinabe officials insisted the plane entered their airspace without prior authorization, triggering an immediate security response. Burkina Faso's Minister of Territorial Administration, Emile Zabo, said authorities were acting strictly in accordance with national security protocols. The Nigerian Air Force, meanwhile, emphasized that the crew followed international aviation safety procedures and highlighted that its personnel were treated respectfully during the detention. Residents of southern Kaduna have expressed concern over the rising incidents of kidnapping and other security challenges affecting the area. They spoke during a stakeholders security meeting organized by the Kaduna State Police Command to strengthen community police collaboration in tackling banditry and other criminal activities threatening local communities. Here's the report.
Southern Kaduna has faced recurrent attacks by armed groups over the years, resulting in loss of lives, destruction of property, and displacement of residents. The stakeholders meeting brought together traditional rulers, religious leaders, civil society representatives, and the Kaduna State Commissioner of Police to discuss measures to curb the recent wave of abductions and attacks recorded in the region. Some community representatives lamented that insecurity has negatively impacted social and economic activities in many affected communities.
You discover that their farms have been destroyed, kidnappers. In fact, today you discover that even if you go to the farm, you are not safe. No matter the time you leave the farm, coming back home, your life is not safe. In your home, you are not safe. So it is threatening the people.
We are appealing to the government to reopen the cattle reserve routes. I also urge Fulani herdsmen to remain law-abiding and to avoid destroying farmlands.
The number of police personnel is limited compared to the population of the citizens. So the citizens have tremendous role to play in helping to nip in the bud issues of insecurity or matters that threaten security of the communities.
Traditional leaders from southern Kaduna, while expressing deep concern over the persistent threats, said the engagement with the police would help improve security, especially at the grassroots, where citizens are most vulnerable.
As you all know, the issue of insecurity, not only in Kaduna State, in the Nigeria as a whole. So we discussed so many things, and if you can see the caliber of people that attended the meeting, we have the security personnel, the traditional rulers, regional leaders, NGOs, CDS, this development association, and so many things. And thank God we discussed some of the issue, the challenges, and how we can solve the problem. So thank God, the issue of insecurity, we cannot expose all we discuss. But other than I know, we discussed so many things, and inshallah, we are going to overcome the problem, inshallah.
The Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State Command, Muhammad Rabiu, assured that necessary security measures would be deployed to address the challenges in the area. He emphasized the importance of information sharing and cooperation with security agencies.
So it's just like a community engagement. Community engagement, is like community policing. Policing, you can't police the communities alone. We need the collaboration and synergy with other stakeholders in the community. So we take priority to the communities and we invited.
During the interactive session, stakeholders pledged to promote peaceful coexistence among the diverse ethnic groups and to support the police in effort to prevent further attacks and restore safety across southern Kaduna. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Still on security, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command have arrested a 32-year-old Ahmed Abubakar for allegedly attempting to supply 1,000 rounds of ammunition to bandits in Zamfara State. Commissioner of Police Mila Dantawai, who disclosed this to newsmen at command headquarters in Abuja on Wednesday, revealed that the suspect was arrested on Wednesday around 3:30 in the afternoon by the command's tactical team after acting on credible intelligence at Ongwaradodo in Gwagwala, the local government council of the FCT. He stated that the preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect was in contact with an associate identified as Yusuf Mohammed, who he noted intended to procure 1,000 rounds of ammunition for onward delivery to bandits in a forest in Zamfara. He stated that the suspect is currently in police custody while further investigative efforts are underway to apprehend the aforementioned fleeing accomplice and dismantle the criminal network involved. The police commissioner therefore reiterated the command's mission to rid the FCT and its environs of crime and ensure that the safety of residents of the territory. A family of 3 tragically lost their lives in a car crash in Lagos in the early hours of Wednesday. The incident, which occurred in Ward Otedola Bridge along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, also left 2 persons seriously injured. Eyewitnesses said the accident involved 4 vehicles, an Audi, a Toyota Camry, and a Toyota Corolla, and a truck. The witnesses alleged that the heavily loaded truck was traveling at excessive speed and unfortunately collided with one of the vehicles from the rear. The impact caused the vehicle to lose control, colliding with 2 additional moving vehicles, thereby triggering the fatal chain reaction accident. The impact of the crash caused significant damage as the family of 3 was pronounced dead at the scene. Though the actual names of the deceased could not be ascertained as at press time, but emergency responders identified them as a father, a mother, and their child. The General Manager of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LATMA, Mr. Olalekun Bakari Oki, confirmed the incident, saying accident claimed the lives of 3 members of a family. Now to politics. 2027 elections are already reshaping Nigeria's politics long before campaigns begin. The drift is clear and one way. Power is pulling around the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Across federal, state, and local levels, the APC is tightening its grip, helped by a steady stream of defections from opposition parties. Shafiu Suleiman explains this scenario.
This trend has revived fears of a slide toward a one-party system. The opposition space is shrinking fast, weakened by exits, internal fights, and long-running court cases. The People's Democratic Party has taken the hardest hit. Years of internal squabbles have cost it influence and numbers. Other parties face similar trouble. NMPP, LP, SDP, and ADC are split by factions. Leadership tussles drag through the courts. Party congresses remain disputed. High-profile defections have deepened the problem. Since the 2023 elections, 5 PDP governors have crossed over to the APC, upon amid controversy. The APC now controls at least 29 states and holds commanding numbers in state assemblies and at the center. The PDP, once with 10 governors, is down to 6. Taraba, Plateau, and Zamfara remain under watch, with strong signals they may follow the same path. In the National Assembly, the ruling party now enjoys near total comfort. Senate, APC about 72 of 109 senators, well above the two-thirds mark, enough to pass constitutional changes and override vetoes. House of Representatives, APC over 226 of 360 members, clear control of legislative business. Most defectors explain their move as aligning with the center to attract development. Critics see it differently. To many voters, this wave of movement reflects self-interest and political survival, not ideology or public need. As the 2027 elections draw closer, the question is no longer about party strength, but about how much opposition Nigeria will have left. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving on now. On the 10th of December every year, the world marks the International Human Rights Day, a global observance commemorating the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In Nigeria, the day serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggles to protect the fundamental freedoms guaranteed to every citizen. The 2025 theme emphasizes everyday essentials such as freedom of expression and access to information. Trust TV's Noel Samson now reports on this special.
In 2024, the National Human Rights Commission recorded more than 2 million human rights-related complaints across the country. In September 2025 alone, the Commission received 371,622 cases with violations of the right to life topping the list. Nigeria also continues to perform poorly on global rankings. In the 2024 World Human Rights and Rule of Law Index, the country is placed 120th out of 142 nations, reflecting deep-seated and persistent rights challenges.
And today we pay tribute to human rights advocates and defenders the world over. We honor their hard work, sacrifices, and achievements. We honor those who suffered deprivation of their liberties and on whose back systems, laws, policies, and practices have evolved to enable us to enjoy the democratic freedoms we have today.
Last year, explicit threats were expressed against Nigerian and international press operators and journalists. This constitutes a clear assault on freedom of expression and on democracy. But we have trust in this country. We have trust in Nigeria, and we are confident that Nigeria will overcome these challenges.
The Freedom of Information Act 2011 further reinforces this right by providing mechanisms for public access to government-held information. This year theme, our everyday essentials, freedom of expression and access to information, is both timely and profoundly significant. It reminds us that these two rights are not abstract ideas, but practically necessities that empower citizens, strengthen institutions, and uphold the very fabric of democratic governance.
As the statistics continue to raise concern, human rights advocates say strategic reforms are needed to protect Nigerians more effectively. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana, legal practitioner Monde Ubani, and program manager of the Criminal Justice Reform, ROLAC, Oluwatoyin Akinwande, offered insights on what must be done.
Our duty as human rights defenders, revolutionary lawyers, human rights activists, civil society organizations is to go out there and enlighten our people to know their rights under the law so that they can confront the authorities and demand that their rights be respected.
Well, the Nigerian justice system still has challenges, and those are some of the challenges that we as a program, an EU-funded program, the international idea is trying to address. So we know, for instance, that people still spend lengthy periods of time in detention, waiting trial. And, just as one of the examples that the speaker gave, you could have a judgment and you cannot have access to that judgment until it is made available, which could take quite some amount of time. So the key thing is that we need to acknowledge where we are in promoting access to justice.
But where we're having problem actually is judicial attitude and enforcement. I know when I started my practice as a lawyer, the moment you file a fundamental human right action, it is given very, very utmost timely intervention. The matter is assigned immediately. Now you file fundamental human right enforcement, it takes you almost 1 month or 2 or 3 months for the matter to be assigned. So the attitude has changed. This is not what we made, initially. So what has gone wrong?
As Nigeria reflects on this year's observance, one message stands clear. Protecting human dignity is not only a global duty, it is a national responsibility. Wow, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
As Nigeria marks the International Human Rights Day, human rights advocates in Lagos have renewed calls for justice and accountability. And protesters under the banner of the End Bad Governance movement convened in Ikeja demanding better governance, improved security, and an end to human rights abuses across the country. The demonstrators were at the Ikeja underbridge before marching towards the Lagos State House of Assembly to present their concerns. The report.
The rally highlighted ongoing concerns about violations by state institutions and security agencies. Activists said Nigeria must uphold its obligations under international human rights conventions, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They noted that despite constitutional guarantees, many Nigerians continue to suffer unlawful detention, police brutality, and restrictions on freedom of expression and peaceful assembly.
In short, what we are demanding for today is that the Nigerian government should do the barest minimum by respecting its obligations under international treaties. That obligation is to respect human rights, especially as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as Nigeria's constitution. Our demand is that is all we are saying.
During the protest, the group also voiced dissatisfaction with leadership at the federal level, calling for improved security nationwide and accountability from all public office holders.
Why we were outside is the fact that our rights need to be fight for, our dignity needs to be fight for, our freedom needs to be fight for, and that is just the basic things. Today, you see Benin Republic attempting coup, Mali, another coup, military coup d'etat. It shows that the continent, Nigeria, as a giant of Africa, all of us are deteriorating in terms of actualization of what human rights is all about.
The demand is simple. Our demand is that Nigerians are suffering. Our demand is that things should be better off. Our demand is that fuel should come down. Our demand is that the level of corruption should come low. Our demand is that insecurity in the land should be stopped. Our demand is that everybody must be equal in this nation. We are here to demand for the resignation of tinubu. We are here to demand for good governance. We are here to demand for the end to the killings in Nigeria. And we are here demand for accountability and good governance in general. That's why we are here.
Protesters say their demands remain clear: protect citizens' rights, end impunity, and ensure every Nigerian can live free from abuse by those tasked with safeguarding the law.
Away from the International Human Rights Day, Nasarawa State is set for a major economic boost as the Euphoria Group unveils 3 massive integrated projects worth $88.5 million. The initiatives are expected to strengthen industrial capacity, promote innovation, and drive sustainable development across Nasarawa State. Our correspondent has details.
It was a landmark moment in Nasarawa State as the Euphoria Group officially launched 3 mega projects designed to transform the state's industrial and agricultural landscape. Collectively valued at $88.5 million, the project cuts across security printing, paper production, and agribusiness, all aimed at boosting economic growth and strengthening the private sector. These projects, according to stakeholders, align with the state government's commitment to private sector-driven growth and sustainable development under the leadership of Governor Abdullahi Sule.
This project is the first of its kind where a printing and paper mill will use raw materials that are sold from Nigerian communities. Not only that, there is a machine being produced which is one of one globally, and we're very delighted and excited that this is happening in Nasarawa State.
The vision has lived in our heart, a bold dream to create an industrial ecosystem that will redefine what is possible in security printing, manufacturing, and social economic development. What once seemed distant is today becoming a reality, and we recognize that this moment would not have been possible without the unwavering support and visionary leadership of His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule, the amiable Governor of Nasarawa State.
Boosting the local economy through job creation and increasing productivity, enhancing the publishing industry with high-quality printing services, increasing access to other printing resources, strengthening African position in the global printing and publishing market.
His vision was very clear. He wanted to have a state-of-the-art factory here in the state of Nasarawa, and what he has chosen, not only as equipment and as machinery, is really outstanding. I'd like to announce that the machine that he has chosen from Kunikambawa is the first of its kind machine coming into the state here. Not only to the state, and to the West Africa.
Governor Sule expressed appreciation to the Euphoria Group for choosing Nasarawa State as the home of these transformative investments, noting that the project will create jobs, empower communities, and increase the state's industrial capacity.
I want to sincerely thank you for citing this project in Nasarawa State. It goes in line with our dream. Just like you have a dream for these mega projects, I also had a dream from a village very close from here, to ensure that I contribute to industrialization of this state. Area that we have exercised and we had given to you, the investor, to show our seriousness. I'm handing over the certificate of occupancy of that area to you right here online, so you can come and take it.
Words, way, actions, His Excellency the Governor of the...
With these new investments, Nasarawa State is positioning itself as a rising hub for industry and agribusiness in Nigeria.
From Nasarawa to Jigawa, Jigawa State has launched an ambitious reform to tackle the long-standing challenge of child street begging linked to the Almajiri system. Backed by substantial funding and a clear implementation strategy, the state government is transforming Tsangaya education to provide thousands of vulnerable children with quality learning, vocational skills, and a pathway to a dignified life. The report.
Jigawa State government says it is setting a new benchmark in northern Nigeria through a comprehensive investment in Sangaya education aimed at eliminating child street begging. More than 3 billion naira has been committed to building 3 ultra-modern mega Sangaya schools and rehabilitating 7 others across strategic locations in the state. When completed, the new and upgraded facilities will accommodate over 8,000 almajiri currently on the streets, offering them a balanced curriculum that blends Quranic studies, formal education, and practical vocational training aligned with today's job market demands. The government is also establishing Quranic recitation centers across the state's 30 constituencies, a move designed to phase out the traditional, unstructured almajiri model. Governor Umar Namadi has reaffirmed his commitment to sustaining the reforms and introducing further innovations to ensure long-term success.
Graduates from Sangaya school in Jigawa State will now have 3 different things to be proud of. 1, you have the Islamic education. 2, you now have numeracy and literacy. And 3, you have some skills that you have learned that will also keep you going in your life. So at least by the time a graduate from Sangaya school in Jigawa State will now have 3 different things to be proud of. And with that, we are working with board of Arab Islamic and Arab Islamic board to issue certificate to those guys.
Executive Secretary of the Jigawa State Sangaya Education Board, Dr. Abubakar Maji Hamisu, praised the initiative, describing it as a transformational intervention that will give thousands of disadvantaged children a better future.
Jigawa State government in the year 2024 had established an independent and autonomous board called Jigawa State Sangaya Education Board. This board had some mandates. Some of its mandates include, but not limited to, the following. Number 1, promoting Islamic and Sangaya education in a more formal setting, regulates and integrate Sangaya education into basic education system, minimize the prevalence of child begging engaged by almajiri, and equip them with skills, small-scale business, and other support in order to become self-reliant and responsible citizens.
Observers say the reforms has the potential to redefine Quranic education in Jigawa, reduce vulnerability among young children, and contribute to poverty reduction and sustainable socio-economic development in the state.
Daily Trust, the flagship publication of Media Trust Group, and Trust TV, one of its subsidiaries, shone on Tuesday as their journalists and staff won the Wole Soyinka Investigative Journalism Award. Daily Trust and Trust TV journalists Afiz Anafi and Muslim Yusuf emerged as the winners of both the print and television categories of the award, the most prestigious investigative journalism award in Nigeria. Hanafi won the print category based on his story titled Investigation, Journalist Secures 2 Jobs with Oluwole Certificates. The runner-up and third positions in the print category were Kingsley Jeremiah and Anne Godwin, both of the Guardian newspaper. However, it was a repeated fashion as no winner was announced for the radio category. Also, no one emerged as either the runner-up or third positions. In the online category, Theophilus Adeokun of National Record won overall with the story titled Dangote in Quest for Cheap Energy, Pumps Poison into Benue Rivers. The runner-up was Kunle Adebanjo from Human Angle, and Isa Ismaila from Human Angle finished third. In the photo category, Elliot Ovaje of the Punch newspaper emerged as the overall winner, while Elliot Ovaje of the same Punch newspaper finished as the runner-up and third position.
It's a great honor to win Wole Soyinka Investigative Reporting Award. It's an award that I have been launching for quite some years, and it's quite exciting that I am winning it this year. It's it's a recognition of the good work we do as Daily Trusts, my colleagues and I, and this will certainly give us the push to even do more.
Winner for the TV category of Sabon Shoyinka Center for Investigative Journalism Award, which is a documentary I did for Trust TV. And I'm really excited for this recognition, and special gratitude to the Media Trust for giving me this opportunity to show my talent and giving me more hands, advice to my editors, to the board of Media Trust. I really say thank you and I appreciate you. And also special thanks to Wole Shoyinka Center for Investigative Journalism for recognizing our work. This is really a pusher and an encouragement for us to do more of this kind of reporting and expose what people need to know, and we will not get tired until the society gets at least better the way we can.
Certainly, congratulations to the Media Trust Group and, of course, the award-winning journalists. Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and other filling stations have further reduced the pump price of premium motor spirit, PMS. Reports say NNPCL retail outlets in parts of Abuja have adjusted their fuel price to 915 naira per litre, down from 920 naira. This means that the petrol price was reduced by 5 naira per litre when compared to 920 naira per litre. Meanwhile, MRS and Bovas retail outlets in Abuja dropped fuel prices to 910 naira per litre from as high as 945 naira per litre. Other filling stations such as AYM Shafa, Nipco, Optima, Mobil, Ran Oil and Empire dispensed petrol between 920 naira and 937 naira per litre in Abuja. The development comes as the ex-depot price of petrol at Dangote refinery stood at 824.50 naira per litre, Etana 823 naira, Itel 823 naira and Bovas 822 naira. Away from Nigeria, Thailand and Cambodia appear to be on the brink of a full-scale armed conflict as military tensions along their shared borders continue to intensify. In recent days, both nations have deployed thousands of troops, armored vehicles and heavy weaponry to volatile frontier zones, raising fears of a wider regional crisis. According to security officials and regional observers, firefights have erupted in sections of the dense jungle borderland, particularly near disputed territories that have long been a source of national tensions. Reports indicate that Cambodian forces have launched shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles at Thai F-16 fighter jets, conducting patrol missions near contested airspaces. In response, the Royal Thai Armed Forces have mobilized air and ground assets while reinforcing defense installations. Satellite imagery and witness accounts also show movement of Cambodian T-55 battle tanks towards forward positions, a signal, analysts say, demonstrates escalating military readiness rather than routine border security measures. We now take you to sports news.
A worldwide advocacy group has filed a complaint with FIFA's Ethics Committee citing a lack of impartiality from organization president Gianni Infantino, as well as the political nature of last week's 2026 World Cup draw. Central to the complaint is Infantino's effusive praise of United States President Donald Trump, as well as World Soccer's governing body, bestowing a first-of-its-kind FIFA Peace Prize on Trump. FIFA, which is set to conduct the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico and Canada, has always prided itself as neutral in matters of politics and religion. The non-profit group Fair Square, which filed a complaint in an 8-page letter, says it is dedicated to accountability in sport and regard to labor migration and political repression. Still on sport news, the first group of Team Nigeria's contingent to the 4th African Youth Games AYG in Luanda departed the country on Monday, December 8, 2025, signaling the first phase of preparations for the continent's flagship youth multi-sport competition. Nigeria will field 86 athletes across 12 sporting disciplines, including athletics, badminton, boxing, beach volleyball, cycling, judo, golf, swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, and weightlifting. This year's edition of the African Youth Games scheduled for December 10th to 20th, 2025 marked a significant milestone as Angola became the first Portuguese-speaking nation to host the event. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And that concludes news broadcast of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news. Thank you for watching. I'm Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Good night.